gosh, I actually managed to balance this. Brilliant. Hi, my name is Michaela. I am a PhD student at the University of Tübingen in Germany, but I am originally from New Zealand. I moved to Germany with my husband a year ago, that is just psycho to think about. I can't believe it's been a year. But we moved to Germany to do my PhD, and as you can probably tell maybe by the surroundings, it is way too green for winter. I am not in Germany at the moment. I have come back to New Zealand for Christmas because I have two very close friends who are getting married, and we thought because it's the two weddings plus there are 2 or 3 birthdays, like family birthdays, and then Christmas, New Year's, there's a lot going on basically. So we thought we'd just come back for a big long trip. So hi, I'm in New Zealand, what the heck. We are here for 6 weeks, I want to say. I think it's 7 weeks in total that I'm not in Germany, but it is 6 weeks in New Zealand. We first went to Paris because we actually flew out of Paris. It was 2,000 euros cheaper to fly out of Paris than out of Germany return at the time that we were booking them. And so we thought, do you know what? It's our wedding anniversary in December, just before we flew. So we went to Paris for our wedding anniversary, which is probably the last vlog that you saw. And then we landed, and it's my friend's wedding on Saturday. It's currently Friday. We landed yesterday, and I did not film much of the flight. Basically, we were sitting in the center row for like the entire flight, and it was a bit of a bumpy ride, to be honest. It was not the greatest flight. We went from Paris to Frankfurt, and then Frankfurt to Tokyo, and I think in Tokyo I took a few clips, so I can insert this here or overlay it while I'm talking. We flew into Haneda Airport, I think is what it's called, and I didn't realize, but we were flying out of Narita Airport, and so we had to take all of our bags out. Great, no stress in that. Go through customs and then catch an hour to an hour and a half bus to the other airport, check everything back in. It was a little bit stressful. I completely didn't realize at the time that it was supposed to be doing that. I don't know, I guess I just assumed that there were different terminals in the airport. I didn't think to look it up. I don't know, my brain was occupied with other things. But anyway, we ended up doing that, taking everything out, and then catching the bus. And I think I took a few clips of the bus trip, and then we caught a plane from Tokyo to Auckland, New Zealand, which is where I live. I live in Auckland. Well, lived in Auckland. I find this a really strange concept because it's really weird knowing that this is like the country that I grew up in and where I've spent the majority of my life, but it's not really my home anymore because I don't live here. Like, all of my personal items are in Germany. All of my, like, the majority of my clothing and my plants and my office setup and everything is there. And while we're here, we're like staying with family and borrowing my parents' car, and we don't have anything that's our own, but at the same time this is what I'm most familiar with. It's a really strange, I don't know, really strange concept. Anyway, that's been something that I've been trying to get my head around, and yeah, I don't know, I thought I'm probably not going to be filming too much while I'm here, just so, like, we've got a lot of family events that I'm not going to encroach on, and like this, like, YouTube thing is more like for my own personal interest, and I feel like it helps me to be creative, and it gives me, I don't know, just like a creative outlet, but also I just like talking. I don't know, I'm a verbal and visual processor, and I think as well, like, I just have a really sucky memory, which I've talked about before. I have a terrible, I really struggle to remember things, and I find that like recording stuff and really like talking things through solidifies it in my brain more, but then also editing the videos, I feel like I remember it more because I'm visually reliving what we went through, which I find really cool. Anyway, I'm not going to be filming too much, but what I thought that I could do is there'll be like a few things here and there that I'll video, but in between, I don't know, I just thought that I'd do a few car chats because I actually really miss having a car. And like, in New Zealand, the majority of people will have cars, at least in Auckland. I've never lived anywhere outside of Auckland, but the majority of Aucklanders will have a car because public transport here isn't very developed, at least not as much as it is in Germany. We don't have a car in Germany, we have bikes. We'll just catch the bus or the bike and that does us fine. We don't catch a bike, we ride our bikes, but that normally does us just fine. Whereas here the public transport is not very developed, and Auckland is also very spread. It's quite a wide city without there being much, like, there's not that many high rises or high development apart from the city centre. And so in order to accommodate for the urban spread, I think a lot of people get cars so it's faster to travel places. Anyway, I finally have a car again and I've just missed just driving and yeah, like driving somewhere and not having anyone else in the car and just being able to put on your music, and it's a really cool, I don't know, just like a nice feeling. Like I remember a lot of my happy moments is just like being alone in the car and driving, or Luke and I going for road trips, or yeah, I don't know, something along those lines. So it's really nice to have a car again. I am sitting in the car right now. I actually just had a call. I'm doing counselling via BetterHelp, which I heard about through YouTube, so it's very cool. And I just had to have, I just had a counselling session and I didn't feel like taking it at home, and so I thought that I'd drive somewhere, and that's why I'm out here. I just thought I'd, I don't know, video a welcome to New Zealand video while I'm out and about before I head off for the rest of the day. My friend is getting married tomorrow, so we're going out to the venue and just like finalising things today, which is really nice. But I'm actually just sat at a park where I used to come. It's just down the road from my parents, and my parents and I used to live not too far away from each other. So I'm actually really close to the house that I lived in for like 4 years, which is kind of crazy, and it's kind of strange to think that like a big chunk of my life after I got married was in that house and we're not there anymore. But we used to come down to this park here. I'll take a few clips in a second, but we used to come down to this park and run our dog, and we used to do like exercise here. And there was one time during lockdown, because Auckland had a lot of lockdowns. I'm not sure if you know much about New Zealand's response to COVID, but New Zealand had a lot of lockdowns, specifically Auckland, because that's where our international airport was. And because of the lockdowns, you could only walk a certain distance within your suburb, I think. I think you couldn't leave your suburb at some point in the lockdowns. And so we used to come to this park here and walk around and keep our distance from other people. And like during one of the lockdowns where you could increase your bubble to one other family, because my parents lived so close, we joined our outdoor bubble, so they didn't come around to our house, but we were able to sit on the side of the field and eat ice cream together. And I think it was the first lockdown, Luke and I went for a walk here and he accidentally stood on a beer bottle and gashed his foot open, and we had to go to the A&E, which is the Accident Emergency Centre. And it's just stuff like that like, I don't know, I'd kind of forgotten all of these things until I turned up here. And yeah, it's like a random spot, but I have so many memories attached to it, which is really cool. Anyway, I just wanted to essentially jump on and say hello, I'm in New Zealand. It's a really strange feeling. I'm someone who struggles a lot with disassociation, and I feel like that's one of the things that one of the predominant emotions that I've had since coming here is feeling like my life from Germany my life in Germany feels so disconnected to here. Like, I'm seeing people that I grew up with, and I'm staying with my parents, and I don't know, like, going out for coffee to places that I've spent most of my life going to, and it's stuff like that it just feels like I dreamt the last year in Germany, and I've just blinked and I'm back where I was. I guess there's no lockdowns, but it just feels like a few years ago, and it's a really weird feeling. And it's really weird also being in a time zone where messages from my New Zealand friends are coming through to me while I'm awake versus me waking up to those messages. And yeah, it's kind of a weird sensation, but I'm super excited. And I think Luke and I are going to take a few trips, and I have to work, which is going to be interesting with time zone differences. And I've got a few work events for my job here in Auckland, and there's the weddings, and yeah, I don't know, it's gonna be strange, but I'm also really excited. Like, it's summer, gonna have a summer wedding. Oh my gosh, the humidity, that is one thing I've completely forgot about it. Like, a lot of people ask us what summer's like in New Zealand. People in Germany ask us this, and I always talk about the humidity, how it's really high humidity, but I forgot. Like, it was hot in Germany over summer, but it was not humid. This, oh, it's like 25 degrees today, I think, which shouldn't be that hot. Like, I remember 25 degrees in Stuttgart and feeling like this is nice, because 35 degrees was too hot. 25 degrees in Stuttgart was like nice, but I'm realizing, somebody just walked past, sorry, like 25 degrees in New Zealand is hot. It's just like this oppressive, like, I don't know, just like the air just feels thick and it's hard to breathe, and yeah, that kind of thing. Anyway, that's been an interesting thing that I remember, was the humidity. And it's been raining a lot, which is interesting. I remember New Zealand being very wet, and it's a different kind of rain to Germany, I feel like. I don't know if that makes sense, but it just feels like heavier. I don't know. I'm really weird at explaining things, but anyway, I just wanted to say hello from New Zealand. I don't know what I'm going to be filming, but there'll be probably a lot of car chats, so get familiar with this car. I'm obviously not going to film while driving because that is unsafe. And I don't know when things are going to be going up. I'm going to try and keep editing as much as possible. I was supposed to have a bunch of stuff like scheduled to go up while we were flying, and that just didn't happen. So I don't know how it's going to go. We'll see. Anyway, hi from New Zealand. I hope that you're having a nice December, and that you're, I don't know, enjoying the preparations for Christmas and finishing things up for the year, and hopefully you get some time off. But I just wanted to say hello, and I will see you with another video very soon. Bye.